Hello everyone, welcome to the Mercury Virtual. Hope you are doing good. Today I'm going to continue with your same module, that is website design, and today is the last class for this module, and from tomorrow onwards I'm going to start with the new module, that is a research skills, that is of the third semester module. So let's start with the previous class session, and today I'm going to continue with the same tutorial, that is the HTML tutorial. So let's start with the previous class session, what we have covered in the last class, then move to the today's topic, that is chapter number 39, that is what are the various character encoding that is used within the HTML, that is the HTML character encoding. So we have finished with the chapter number 38 in the last class, that is a language ISO code. So what are the various language ISO code that is used in the HTML? And today I'm going to start with the chapter number 39, that is a character encoding. So let's start with the chapter number 38, that is a previous class session, that is what we have covered in the last class. So in the last class we have started with the language ISO codes, that is what are the various international standard organization codes that is available that is used for the languages, that is a language ISO code. So then we have discussed about the various languages, that is what are the various languages that is used within the HTML. So that is the language ISO code, so that is what are the various languages that is used. These are the various languages. First of all, the language starts with the A, then this is the AB, then this is the FR, then this is the African. So these are the various languages that is used within the HTML. And this is the Albanian, this is the Amharic, Arabic, Armenian. These are the various languages that is used. These are the Windows code, these are the Windows name, these are the ISO codes. Then this is started with the B, that is the Bashkir. This is our code BA, that our code, that is the ISO code. Then there is a window name, then there is a Win code that is used, that is a 0 into 2D, then BN, then language Bengali, then DZ, BH, BI, BR, BG. So these are the various code that is used within the HTML. Then next is the Cambodian, that is a KM. Then next is the CA, that is a Catalan. Then Cherokee, Chua, Chinese. So these are the various languages that starts with the C. Then next is the Chinese. Then next is the Corsican. Then next is the Crotonian. Then next is the Kichet, then Danish, then Divehi, then Dutch. So these are the various languages that is used within the HTML, and they have a different Windows name, they have a different Win code, they have a different ISO codes. Then next is the English, that is the R language, that is the English that is used, that is the language English. This is the window name and this is the window code that is used over here. Then next is the Estonian, then next is the Farishi, that is the language Farishi. Then next is this is the code have a 0 into 38. Then Farsi, that have a language has a Farsi, then code have a 0 into 29. Then next is the Fiji, FZ. This have a window name different, and this have a win code that is different. Then next is the Finnish, that have a language code Finnish. Then next is a win code, that is a 0 into 0 B. Then next is the Flemish, that language is a language Dutch. Then next is the French, that is a French language, that is a FR language French, then 0 into 0 C. Then Frisian, then Filfari, then Galician, then GL, this is a language Galician, 0 into 56. Then next is a German, that have a code language German, that have a code or win code as a 0 into 0 7. These are the various languages that is used with the G. That is start with the G. Then these are the various code that we have already studied, that is start with the H, that is a Hosa, Hawaiian, Hebrew, that have a code HELW. Then Hindi, that is our Indian language, that is a Hindi, that have a code HI, and that is a window name is a language Hindi, and this is a win code that is a 0 into 39. The next is a Hungarian, that have a language code, that have a win code or win name is the language Hungarian, that have a win code that is a 0 into 0E. Then Libibio, that have a window name no defined, and the window code is 0 into 69. Then Icelandic, this is a code, that is a code have a language Icelandic. Then this is a window name, that is a language Icelandic. Then LGBO, that is the next code. Then Indonesian, then Interlingua, that is the next code. Then Interlingui, then this is the next code, this is the next code. Let's then start with the Japanese, that is start with the J, that is a Japanese. They have a code, that is a language Japanese, that have a win code, that is a 0 into 11. Then next is a Javanese, that have a code JV, and that have a different window name, and there is a different win code that is used. The next is a Canada, that have a different unique name, that is a KN and language Canada, then 0 into 4B. Then next is a Canary, Next is a no constant defined, that is for the Kanuri. Then next is a Kashmiri, that is a KS, and this is the language Kashmiri. This is a 0 into 60. Then Kazakh, that is a KK, language Kazakh, and 0 into 3R. Then Kyrgyz, KY, language Kyrgyz, that is used. Then Konkani, then Korean, then Kurdish, then Lothian, then Latin. So these are the various languages that start with the L. Then Limburgish, that is a Limber, that is Li. Then Lingaria, that is Ln. Then Lithuanian, that is Lt. Then Macedonian, that is a MK, that is a language has a Macedonian. Then 0 into 2F. Then Malgashi, that have a code MG. So these are the various languages that start with the M. Then Marathi, that have a code MR. This is the language Marathi. Then 0 into 4E. The next code is a Maldavian, MO. Next code that start with the N, that is a Nepali, NE. Then this is the code, that is a language Nepali. Then 0 into 61. Then Norwegian, then language Norwegian, then 0 into 214. So these are the various languages that is of the N character. Then next are the languages that is of the O character, that is Octian, Oriya, and the Oromo. Then this is the code that is defined over here. Then Papaya Mantu, that is a Papia Mantu, that have a different code. Then Pashto, this is a different code that have a code PS, that is 0 into 60. The next code is a Polish, that is a PL, the language Polish, then 0 into 15. Then Portuguese, that is a Portuguese, that language has a language Portuguese, then 0 into 16. Then Punjabi, that have a language Punjabi, that is a 0 into 46, that is also Indian language, and this is the one of the community, that is a Punjabi community. Then Croatia, that is a Q. Then Resto Romance, that is a RM. Then Romanian, this is the code of RO. Then Russian, then Sami. So these are the different code that is used with the different languages. So these are the languages that start with the S, that have a character S. Then this is a Somali, that is a SO, and there is no constant defined over here. That is the next is a 0 into 377. Then Spanish, that have a code ES, that have a no, though there is no, we can say there is a window name that is defined, that is a language Spanish. Then Sundanish, then SU, then Swahi, then SW, then Swedish, that have a SV, then Syriac, that have a language Syriac, and 0 into 5A. Then Tagalog, this is the next code that is used, that is a Tagalog, that have a TI, and there is no constant defined over here. Then Tajik, then Tamagic, then Tamil. Tamil is a language that is used for the Windows programming. Then Tatar, then Telugu, then Thai, then Tibetan. And Tibetan, there is no defined name for the Tibetan. They have a no window name that is defined, that is the Tibetan. Then no constant defined. Then 0 into 51. This is the win code. Then next language is the Tigrinya. They have a TI, and there is no constant defined, there is no window name, there is no ISO or win code. This is the Turkish, that have a language Turkish, this is the window name, and this is the win code. Then Turkman, that have a code TK. Then TWI, that have a code TW. Then Ulghar, that is a UG. Then Urkanian, that have a code UK, that is a language Urkanian, 0 into 22. Then Urdu, that have a language, that is a language Urdu, then 0 into 20. And there is a Wolof, that is a WO. Then Kosha, that have a XH. Then YI, then Yiddish, then Yoruba, that have a code YO, that have a win code, that is a 0 into 6A. Then Zulu, that have a code JU, there is no window name defined, and there is a win code, that is a 0 into 35. And so these are the various languages that is of the part of the ISO. This is a part of the ISO 639 Microsoft. Now next language code is the this is a 639 Macintosh. So one is for the Microsoft systems, Microsoft Windows. Next is for the Macintosh system. So these are the various languages. Again, the more languages that start with the A. This is the language that starts with the A. that have a different ISO code, that have a different MAC name, that have a different MAC code. This is Afghanian, then this is Afar. This is the Afar, then this is the Afrikaans, that is the next language. Then next is the Arabic, that is the next language, that is the AR, that is the language Arabic. Then 12, the Armenian, that is the HY, that is the language Armenian. Then 51, then SMEC, that is the AS. Then Armaria, that is the AY, that is the language Armaria. Then Azerbaijani, that is the AZ, that is the language Azerbaijani. Then next is the Bashkir, that is the next language that have a code BA. Then Baski, that have a code EU, that have a language Baski. And this is the code that is defined over here, that is the MAC code, that is a Macintosh code, that is a 129. So these are the various language. Next is the Bihari language, that is also the Indian language, that is the Bihari language. Then next is the Breton language, that is the language Breton is used. Then start with the C, that is the Cambodian, then Catalan, then Cherokee, then Chihuahua. So these are the various languages for the Macintosh. Then Chinese, that is one is a Chinese simplified, one is a Chinese traditional. Then skis. The next language is the Danish, that have a language Danish, and that have a Macintosh Mac code has a 7. Then Divehi, then Dutch, that have a code NL, that is a language, that is a language Dutch. Then EDO, that is a different language that starts with the E, that is the EDO. And this is the English language, that is the Indian language, that is the English. And this have a code EN, and this is a language, that is the language English. And this have a MAC code, that is a 0. Then Esperanto, that is the EO, that is the language Esperanto. Then 94. Estonian, that is the ET, language Estonian. 27. Then Feroshi, that is the language Feroshi. Then 30. Then Farsi, that is the FA, language Farsi, lang Persian, that's 31. Then Fiji, FJ. Then Finnish, FI. Then Flemish, that is the language Flemish, 34. Then French, FR, language French, that is a 1. Then Galician, that is a GL, that is the language Galician, that have a code 140. Then Gaelic, that is our code Scottish, that is the language Scottish Gaelic. Then 144 is the code. Then Georgian, that is a Georgian language, that is a USA language, that is the Georgian, that have a code as a KA, and the language is the language Georgian, that have a MAC code is a 52. Then German, then Greek. Then start with the H. These are the various H languages for the Macintosh, Hindi, Hungarian, and so on. These are the H languages. K languages, these are the L languages, that is the Latin, Latvian, Limburgish. These starts with the M, that is a Malgashi, Matle, Malayalam, that is ML, that is a language Malayalam, that have a code 72. Next is Maltese, then Maori, that have a different code. Then Oreo, then Paplamantu, that is the Pashto. Then Pushto, that is the next code. Then Semi, then Semonian, then Sangro, then Sanskrit, that have code SA, that is the language Sanskrit. Then Serbian, that SR, that is the language Serbian, 42. Then Serbo-Croatian, that is the SH. Then Cheshosto, that is the ST. Then Setswana, that is the TN. Then Sona, that is the SN. Then Sindhi, that is the SD. Then Spanish, then this starts with the T, that is the Tagalog, that is the TI. Then Tajik, that is the TG. Then Tamachik, then Tamil, that is the TA, that have a window name, that is the name of the, this one is the language Tamil, that have a MAC code is 74. Then Tsonga or Tonga, that is the TO and the TS. Then Turkish, then TV, then Urdu, that is the UR. Then Venda, then Whitmash, then Welsh, then it starts with the Y. Then Idish, that is the Y dish that is used, that is the, it starts with the Y. Then that have a code YI. Then Jorobu, then Zulu. So let's start with the next topic, chapter number 39. That is a chapter number 39, that is a HTML character encoding. So what are the various HTML character encoding? So till now we have studied about the HTML URL encoding, that is how to use the language ISO code, how to use the language or HTML ISO code or the HTML URL encoding. Now today's topic is, sorry, the next chapter is HTML character encoding, that is how to encode the characters, or what are the various encoding methods that is used within the HTML. So what are the various characters encoding methods, that is a character encoding. So let's start with the character encoding. So first of all, it is defined, it is a method of converting bytes into characters. So if I want to convert the bytes, that is a bit 0 1 2 3, sorry 0 1, that is a byte. So if I want to convert the bytes into the different encoding into the characters, that is known as a character encoding. So it is a method of converting bytes into characters. To validate or display an HTML document properly, a program must choose a proper encoding method. So that is, a program must define or must choose a proper encoding method that is a part of the HTML. So it is a part of, or we can say the character encoding is a method of converting bytes into the characters. And to display the HTML file or document in a proper manner, a document must choose a proper encoding method. There will be a proper encoding method that will be used, that is defined with the HTML, that is used to define the documents properly. And the most common character set or the character encoding in use on computer is the ASCII, and the most important encoding method, that is the character encoding that is used in the now today's scenario, that is the ASCII, that is the American Standard Code for Information Interchange. And this is probably the most widely used character encoding electronically, and this is one of the, because we have studied so many chapters, that is the last chapter, last chapter about the ASCII only, that is the ASCII language only. So this is one of the important language, or we can say important encoding method, that is a ASCII, and this is most widely used character encoding for the electronically, that is electronically, digitally. This is very interesting, and this is very fruitful encoding method, that is a ASCII. So in simple terms, so if I want to convert the bytes into characters, that is provided by the character encoding. Now, next paragraph says ASCII encoding supports only the upper and the lowercase Latin alphabet. That is, they are supporting the lowercase letter alphabet as well as the uppercase alphabets. The numbers 0 to n and some extra characters, which makes a total of the 128 characters in all. So there is a 0 to 9 character, some extra character, that makes a total of the 128 characters in at all. And you can have a look at the complete set of printable ASCII character. These are the various printable ASCII character that is used. However, many languages uses either the accented Latin characters or completely the different alphabets. ASCII does not address the characters or these characters. So there is no hard and fast rule that ASCII follows these characters or ASCII uses these characters. No, there is no rule. But ASCII uses, that is American Standard Code, uses these characters for the encoding method. So this is one of the character encoding method that is used. So there is a full-fledged list that is available for the ASCII character. Different character have a different ASCII value. Suppose the capital A has a different ASCII value, that is a 65. Small a has a different ASCII value, that is a 97. So every character, it differs from the character to character, whether it may be a capital letters, whether it may be a small letters. So they have a different ASCII value. There are different characters that is used with the ASCII characters. And this is one of the most widely used character encoding, that is ASCII is one of the most widely used character encoding method that is used in a electronically, that is used in a digital way. Now next is the ISO, that is the International Standard Organization, that also supports or also creates a range of the characters. So there are multiple characters that is also supported or that is also defined by the ISO to deal with the normal character. So if I want to deal with the normal character, that is how to use with the normal character, or how to use the normal character that is deal with the, or that is done by the, or that is supported by the, or that is provided by the ISO. That is the International Standard Organization that creates a range of characters set. The character set means a range of the character group that is to deal with the or different national characters. There are different characters that is dealing with or that is provided by the ISO. So ISO is a standard organization. So ISO is an organization that provides various standards In the same way, ISO also provides different ASCII values as well as the non-ASCII values for different characters that is used. And whatever the document that is used, that is shared by the that is provided by the English and the most of the Western European languages that is used. And one of the best language or one of the widely supported encoding method is the ISO 88591. So ISO 88591 is most widely used character encoding method that is used within the HTML. This is the ISO 88591, that is the International Standard Organization 88591. This is the code. This is a set of the characters that is used within the HTML, that is ISO 88591. Now here is a list of the character set being used around the world along with their description. So these are the various character set that is used around the world, that is used around the form along with their description. The first character set that is used, that is defined within the HTML, that is used for the character encoding is the ISO 88591. That is the first character set, and there is a description that is used, that is the Latin alphabet part 1. That is the Latin alphabet part 1 means there are different alphabetical character that is used, that have a Latin alphabet character, that is for the part 1. That is a Latin alphabet part 1 that covers the North American language, Western Europe language, Latin American, Caribbean language, Canadian language, and the African language, that is Africa. So these are the various languages, these are the various parts that is supported by the ISO 88591. The next is the ISO 88592, that is the Latin alphabet part 2. That our Latin alphabet part 2 that covers the Eastern Europe. Then these are the various Latin characters that is used within the HTML. These are the various UTF files that is used within the HTML. So ISO 88592, that Latin alphabet part 2 that covers the Eastern Europe method, that is how to use the Eastern Europe method or what are the various Eastern Europe that is used within the ISO 88592. So this is first is the ISO 88591, this is the ISO 88592. Now next is ISO 88593, that is the next part. So the next language code is the ISO 88593 that have a contain or that contains the Latin alphabet part 3 that covers the SE Euro, Esperanto, miscellaneous others. So these are the various topics that is defined by the ISO 88593. That is contained in the that is contained within the character encoding. So this is also the part of the ASCII character, that is also the part of the American National Standard Code for Information Interchange, that is HTML characters encoding. And they have a different code, and this is one of the standard defined, that is ISO 88591 that is used, that is defined the various character set and that we have discussed. So one is the ISO 88591, then ISO 88592, then ISO 88593, and 3 contains the Latin alphabet part 3 that covers the SC Europe, Esperanto, then miscellaneous other. So these are the various parts that contained within the alphabets. Then ISO 88594, and that have different words that have a different category, and this contains the Latin alphabet part 4 that covers the Scandinavian and Baltics and not and others not in the ISO 88591. That is 88594 contains the Latin alphabet 4. And this is the ISO 88595 that contains the Latin Syllabic alphabet part 5. This is the 6 that is contains the Latin Arabic. So 5 contains the Cyrillic alphabet part 5 and the 6 contains the Arabic alphabet part 6, and the 7 contains the Latin green alphabet part 7. That is a part of the Greek. That means which language is used within the ISO 7 88597. The language that is used is the Latin or Greek. That means the Greek language is used within the ISO 88597. Then let ISO 88598, that is a Hebrew, that have a alphabet part 8. Then 88599, that is the Latin 5 alphabet, that is of the part 9. That is same as the ISO 88591, except the Turkish characters replaces the Icelandic ones. That means the Turkish characters replaces the Icelandic one. That is also the part of the ISO 88599. Then 885910, that is the ISO 885910, that contains, that is the Latin 6, Lappish, Nordic and the Eskimo. That is the 885910. Then after that 10, there is no 11, there is no 12, there is no 13, there is no 14, but directly it is jumped to the ISO 885915, the same as the ISO 88591, but with more characters added. That means the more characters are added within the ISO 885915. Then ISO 2022 JP, that is a Latin Japanese alphabet part 1. Then ISO 2022 JP2, that is a Latin Japanese alphabet part 2, that is also the category of the Latin, that is the ISO 2022 JP2. The next is the ISO 2022 KR, that is a Latin Korean alphabet part 1. That means the JP contains the Japanese. This is JP contains the Japanese, but this is a part 2. So there are two parts of the Japanese also, that is the JP and the JP2. And the KR, that is a Korean, that is alphabet part 1. And the Unicode consortium was then set up to devise a way to show all the characters of different languages rather than have these different incompatible character codes for different languages. There are different character code that is used for different languages. There are different Unicode consortium that is used to set up a device to show all the characters of different languages rather than have a different incompatible character code for different languages. Now, therefore, if you want to create the document that use the characters for multiple character sets, so if there is a scenario that if I want to use the multiple character sets, that is a multiple character encoding, that is the ISO as well as the URL, you will be able to do so using the single Unicode characters encoding. So there is a facility that is provided by the Unicode character encoding that is used for the multiple character sets. Now, Unicode therefore specifies the encoding that can deal with the string in spatial ways so as to make enough space for the huge character set so that it encompasses. That means Unicode provides spatial encodings or specifies the encoding, that is what are the various encoding methods that is used. It specifies the encoding that can deal with the string. So that means if I want to define the string, that is defined by the Unicode also in spatial ways by which it is made, so that to make or so as to make enough encoding. That means there is a way to make the enough encoding for the huge character set. That means there will be a space for the huge character set that is occupied or that is contained, that is done by that is defined by the Unicode encoding, and there are multiple code that is or there are multiple names that is known as the UTF, that is a Unicode encoding, then UTF-8, UTF-16, UTF-32. There are different versions also, there are different categories also, that depends on the bit to the bit. So that depends, that is a UTF-8, UTF-16 and UTF-32. Now first is the UTF-8, that have a character set UTF-8. This is the description, that has a Unicode translation format that comes in the 8-bit units. That is the Unicode translation that comes in the 8-bit characters. So that's why it is known as the UTM or the UTF, that is a Unicode translation format 8, that is of the 8-bit scenario. That is, it comes in the byte because 8-bit contains or 8 bits are known as a 1 byte. So it comes in the bytes. A character in UTF-8 can be either 1 or 4 bytes long. So it can be either 0 or the 1, or it can be of the 4 bytes long. Sorry, it can be of the 1 byte that contains the 8 bits or the 4 bytes. So it ranges from the 1 byte, that is the 8 bits or 16 bits or 24 bits or 32 bits. So it contains from the, or it varies from the 1 to the 4 bytes long, making the UTF-8 variable width. That means we can change the variable length, we can change the character from the UTF-8 from the 1 byte to the 3 bytes or the 4 bytes long. The next is the UTF-16, That is, a UTF means the Unicode translation format that comes in the 16-bit unit. So first is the UTF-5 that comes in the 8 bits characters or 8 bits value, that is a 1 byte that ranges from the 1 to the 4 bytes, that is from 8, 16, 24, 32 bits. And the UTF-16 that is comes in the 16-bit units, that is it comes in the shorts, that is it can be 1 or 2 shorts long, making UTF-16 variable width. So it can be used for the variable length and it is of the 16-bit. So there are total 16 bits that is available within the UTF, and it can be of that 1 or more or 1 or 2 shorts long. Then the next code is the next category is the UTF-32. So one is the 8, one is the 16, one is the 32. That is a Unicode translation format that comes in the 32-bit units. That is, it comes in the longs. It is a fixed width format and it always one long in the length. So it is of the fixed width format. I'm so sorry. So 8 and the 16 are the two parts that is used. 8 and 16 are the two methods, that is they are the two UTF that is used. So 8 and the 16, and the last one is the 32, and the 8 and the 16 are of the variable length method, that is we can change the length, we can change from the 1 byte to the 4 bytes, we can change the length from the one to the another. That is the 8 and the 16 method. But the 32 have a 32 bits units, that is it comes in the long, that there is a long category that is of the 32 bits. So that is of the 32-bit units, that is it comes in the long and it is a fixed width format and it always one long in the length. So there is a one long length that is used, that is a UTF-32. So these are the three categories of the UTF that is used, that is a UTF-8. Then next category is the UTF-16, the next category is the UTF-32. So there are three categories, one is the UTF-8, one is the UTF-16, one is the UTF-32. Now the first two 25th characters or 256 characters, the Unicode character set, correspond to the 256 character of the ISO 88591. So the first 25 or 256 characters of the Unicode that is related to the ISO that we have studied in the ISO file that is used. So that is defined by the first 256 character are various correspond to the or various related to the 256 characters of the ISO 88591. So that is related to that one, right? By default, HTML4 processors should support UTF-5 or UTF-8. So by default, HTML4 processor supports the UTF-8 and the XML processors are correspond to support the 8 and the 16. That is, the HTML supports only the UTF-8, but the XML, that is extensible markup language, that supports the UTF-8 as well as the 16. Therefore, all the XHTML complaints processors should also support the UTF-16. That means if the XML is supporting the 8 and the 16, so obvious that is a XHTML, that is extensible HTML, also supports the UTF-16. That is the UTF-8, 16 and the 32. These are the three categories of the Unicode translation format. So the next chapter is the chapter number 40, that is the HTML depreciated tags. This chapter I'm going to start with in the next class, that is in the tomorrow's class. But I plan that I have to finish this chapter in the today's class only, and tomorrow onwards I will have to I will start the new chapter, a new module, that is a research skill. But there is no student available, there is no criteria, there is no we can the doubt. So how can I move to the new module? So let's stop over here only. In the next class, that is the tomorrow's class, I am starting your next topic, next chapter, that is the chapter number 40. That is the last chapter of this module, last class of your module, last class of this HTML module, or we can say the website design module. And from the Monday onwards we will be starting next module, that is the research skills. So thanks a lot everyone for listening me. We will meet tomorrow with the chapter number 40, that is the depreciated tag. So thanks a lot everyone. Bye bye.